Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to sift through, all that information out there and really focus on what counts. And today, we're tackling something pretty huge. It touches everyone, really, individuals, big companies, everyone in between. Online reputation management. We've got this document in front of us. Effective Online Reputation Management Solutions by ReputaForge.pdf. It's like a really thorough guide to how they handle, well, the whole digital presence thing. So the big question, I guess, is, your digital footprint is often that first impression, right? Sometimes the only one. How do you protect that? And maybe even how do you make it work for you? Okay, let's try and unpack this. We're going to look at ReputaForge's way of doing things, their strategies for protecting your digital self, and why it's just, well, so much more critical now than maybe it ever was. It's not just defense anymore, is it?
No, not at all. It's really about growth and trust, too. And think about it, just how much online stuff shapes how people see you or see a brand. I mean, every search result, every little review, social media comments, it all adds up. It creates this public story. And this digital identity, whether it's you personally or a huge company, it has like an immediate, real impact. We're talking job offers, customer trust, what people buy, even investment decisions. It's not abstract. It's real, powerful stuff. It can be your best friend or, well, your worst enemy.
Yeah, and the numbers really nail that down. They make it clear why it's such a big deal. Here's where it gets really interesting from this ReputaForge material. Get this. Over 90% of consumers trust online reviews just as much as a personal recommendation. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it?
Why do you think that is? Why does a stranger's online comment carry the same weight as, say, a friend telling you where to eat? It is fascinating, yeah. I think there are a few layers to it. First, just the sheer number of reviews gives this feeling of collective wisdom. Like, if lots of people say it, it must be true, right? Second, there's this sense of anonymity online. People feel they can be more brutally honest, maybe, than face-to-face. Perceived impartiality. And, well, honestly, it's just easy. We're all busy. Online reviews are right there. A quick star rating, a short comment. It's an instant signal. Good, bad. It cuts through the noise. You don't have to personally check everything out.
That makes total sense. Like, we're sort of outsourcing trust to the online crowd. But it's not just about getting good reviews, is it? The document is pretty blunt here. It says, a single negative search result can cost customers revenue and growth opportunities. That's not just a small bump in the road. That's a direct hit to your business, your career, whatever. So why does one negative thing often seem to just, overshadow 10 good things online? Is it just how our brains work, or is it something about search engines too?
Probably a bit of both. Psychologically, yeah, we have this negativity bias. We pay more attention to bad news, threats, risks, sort of wired in. And online, that gets amplified. A really negative review, especially if it's emotional, just grabs your attention more than something blandly positive. And search engines, well, they want to show relevant stuff. And sometimes content that gets a lot of reaction, even negative reaction, or is controversial, it naturally rises up because people are clicking and commenting. So yeah, it's not just dodging the bad stuff. It's about actively building the good, which, leads to a question for you listening. What's your online presence saying right now about you, about your brand? How much is that worth to you? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought, and it really highlights that proactive side. So, okay, understanding why it's so vital, let's look at ReputaForge itself. How do they tackle this huge challenge? The material points to their unique mix, advanced AI-driven analytics with personalized strategies. They seem to really focus on being ethical, transparent, and giving customized service. Sounds like a pretty sophisticated approach, trying to build trust, boost credibility. And the document positions them as India's leading online reputation management company. Now, that's a claim from the material itself, but it suggests they have significant experience and reach, trusted by, it says, thousands of clients, small businesses right up to global players.
Yeah, and what's really interesting there is that combination, the AI part, crunching all the data, plus the human strategy side. A lot of tools out there are just pure automation. Quick fixes, maybe, but often one size fits all. And reputation problems, they're usually not generic. They're complex, context matters, human emotions are involved, market specifics. So ReputaForge seems to get that. Technology is great for gathering info, spotting trends, but you still need that human insight, that nuanced understanding to really crack these complex reputation puzzles. It's using the best of both, tech and people, to make solutions that actually work for real situations.
That makes a lot of sense. You need the AI's power for the sheer volume of online data, right? Yeah. But then you need people to make sense of it, understand the feeling behind the words, craft the right message, engage properly. So how does this work in practice? The document lays out their 4 pillars of protection. It gives a pretty clear picture of how they handle different challenges. Let's start with pillar 1, reputation repair. What does that actually involve when they say removing or suppressing negative links and replacing them?
Right. So reputation repair is basically damage control, active intervention. When they talk about removing or suppressing is often the main game. It means creating and promoting strong, positive, relevant content about you or your brand. The goal is to push those negative links down, down, down in the search results. So far down that hardly anyone sees them because, let's face it, who clicks to page 3 of Google? Removal, like actual deletion, is rarer. Maybe through legal channels if something's truly defamatory, but mostly it's about outranking the bad stuff. And then, yeah, filling that top space with good, accurate, optimized content that paints the right picture.
Okay, so suppression is often more realistic than outright removal. That's a key takeaway. So that's for when things have already gone wrong. What's next? Pillar 2, review management. And given that 90% stat we talked about, this sounds, well, absolutely critical. The document calls it monitoring, responding to, and generating positive customer reviews. How is that different from just, crossing your fingers for good reviews?
Oh, it's totally different. It's active. It's ongoing. Monitoring means they're constantly scanning Google, Yelp, industry sites, you name it, catching reviews the moment they pop up. Responding is huge. It shows everyone, current customers, potential ones that you're listening, that you care, even if the review is negative. Sometimes a really good response to a bad review can actually make your customer service look better. And generating positive reviews, that's about encouraging your happy customers, making it super easy for them to share their good experiences. It builds up this consistent, positive story, reinforces trust.
Right. Being present, being engaged. Makes sense. Okay, pillar 3 sounds pretty intense. Crisis response, defined as fast, expert intervention to mitigate reputation crises. What kind of crises are we talking about? And why is fast so important?
Crises can be anything, really. A social media campaign blowing up in your face, a product recall, some executive saying the wrong thing, even deliberate misinformation attacks. And when that hits, speed is everything. Literally every hour matters. If you're slow or you handle it badly, the negative story just takes root. It spreads like wildfire. The damage gets way deeper, lasts way longer. So fast expert intervention means having a plan ready to go, having the right messages prepared, getting them out quickly, effectively, everywhere that matters. Sometimes it's a 24/7 operation. It's about grabbing control of the narrative before it controls you.
Wow. Like digital firefighting, but maybe even faster. Okay,
Yeah.
And the last one, pillar 4. Sounds like it helps avoid needing pillar 3. Brand monitoring and protection. Real-time tracking in defense of your digital footprint. What's the significance of real-time here?
Real-time is your early warning system. It's proactive defense at its best. You know how fast stuff spreads online now? Crazy fast. What starts as one grumpy comment can explode if you don't catch it early. So real-time tracking uses usually AI to constantly scan everything, social media, news, forums, reviews from mentions of your brand, your keywords, maybe key people's names. This lets you spot potential problems, negative trends just starting to bubble up. It gives you a chance to step in strategically before it becomes a full-blown crisis. If you connect all these 4 pillars really do cover the whole life cycle, don't they? From defense to actively growing a positive reputation.
Yeah, that full life cycle idea feels right. Not just fixing, but preventing and building over time. So how do they actually do it day to day? The document walks through a 4-step process. Seems pretty transparent, which is good for accountability. First up, audit and analysis. Basically, they map out your entire online world, figure out the good, the bad, the opportunities, the threats, like a digital checkup. Makes sense. Then step 2, strategy and repair. Based on that audit, they build a custom plan, not just to clean up messes, but also to actively promote the positive stuff, building up, not just tearing down negative things. Then step 3, transparent reporting. This sounds key for the client. Regular updates, clear results, metrics, so you actually see what's happening, track the progress. No black boxes.
Right. And finally, step 4, ongoing management. Because like you said, the internet never stops. So the strategy can't either. Constant monitoring, reporting, tweaking the plan as needed. It's alive, it changes. Not a one and done fix. How crucial is that ongoing part versus just a one-time cleanup?
Oh, it's absolutely vital. I mean, a one-off campaign might give you a temporary lift, fix one specific issue, maybe, but your online reputation isn't static. It's always moving. New stuff pops up constantly. Search algorithms change. What people think can shift super fast. Ongoing management just accepts that reality. It keeps a strategy sharp, effective, adapts to new problems, grabs new chances. It's really the difference between, say, putting a Band-Aid on something versus maintaining actual long-term health.
Yeah, that continuous watchfulness. Makes perfect sense today. Now, beyond the process, the source also points out some key advantages ReputaForge offers, things that make them stand out, maybe. It's not just what they do, but how they do it.
Exactly. And these advantages really underline their value. First, tailored ORM strategies based on deep case analysis. They explicitly say no one size fits all, which comes back to that human insight point, right? Every client gets a custom plan because, well, a tech startup's reputation issues are totally different from a hospital's. Second, they mention using high-authority platforms to rank positive assets faster. That's smart. It means when they put good content out there, it gets seen quickly, high up in searches, accelerates the positive shift. Their proactive real-time monitoring, as we discussed, that's another big plus, stops small things becoming big things. And for a lot of people, affordable solutions aligned with your budget and goals, that's obviously going to be important. But maybe the biggest thing, they have a dedicated expert team focused solely on ORM, not just digital marketing. That distinction matters. ORM is specific. It needs different skills, a different focus than general marketing. Some might ask, though, does being so specialized mean they miss the bigger marketing picture? How do they connect the dots?
That's a fair question. The document doesn't spell it out explicitly, but it implies that their ORM is holistic. I mean, things like promoting positive content, managing reviews, those directly support broader marketing goals like brand building and customer loyalty. So it seems less like working in a silo and more like their deep ORM expertise enhances the overall digital strategy because reputation underpins so much of it. That dedicated focus is probably a real game changer. They're not just adding ORM as a side service, they live and breathe it. Helps them stay current in a field that changes constantly. And you can really see this focus pay off in the success stories they share. The source gives some solid real-world examples from different sectors, like they helped a tech company suppress unfavorable rumors and regain market credibility. In tech, rumors can kill funding or market share fast, so stopping those, huge. And they restored patient trust for a healthcare provider through positive content campaigns. Trust in healthcare is everything, so restoring that is fundamental. Then there's an e-commerce example. ReputaForge improved brand engagement and customer loyalty. That hits the bottom line directly. More sales, people coming back, building a community, gold dust in online retail. And maybe most dramatically, they delivered quick reputation turnaround for a global corporation after a crisis. Being able to react fast and effectively when things go really wrong, saving potentially massive financial and brand damage. That really shows the power of crisis response.
You know, what's fascinating there is how diverse those examples are. Tech, healthcare, retail, global corporation. The problems look different on the surface. But the core strategies needed the audit, the tailored response, pushing positive content, keeping an eye on things they seem pretty similar underneath. It really shows that a solid, well-run ORM approach, adapted to the specific situation, works across the board. It's effective for recovery, but also for growth.
Absolutely. Whether it's stopping small problems from growing or handling a major meltdown, having a strong online reputation plan isn't just nice. It feels essential now for staying afloat, for growing. And ReputaForge's mix, the AI, the human strategy, that dedicated team, it does look like a comprehensive way to manage this really vital asset.
Yeah, and if we just, zoom out for a second, your online presence, it isn't just a static picture. It's not just a reflection of who you are. It's alive. It needs constant attention, constant care. It gets shaped by every single interaction, every review, all the content out there. It's always changing. So the final thought maybe is, what are you doing right now to actively shape your online story for tomorrow? Are you just playing defense, or are you using it to build something positive?
That's a really powerful question to end on. It definitely emphasizes that this is ongoing work. If you want to explore these ideas further, maybe look into bespoke strategies for yourself or your business, you can check out ReputaForge based on the material we discussed. Their website is www.reputaforge.com. That's reputaforge.com, or you can email them at info@reputaforge.com. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.